It has been a battle royale between President Donald J. Trump and the real rocket man, Elon Musk, over the last 24 hours. The powers that be are reporting on it over and over with whatever take they think will please the audiences they read to. But today, this video right now is going somewhere else. What if we told you that the Trump-Musk feud just nuked the legacy media and former press secretary Karine Jean-Pierre out of orbit again? And we have the receipts to prove it. Get ready for the info you need to know right now.
He spent $288 million to help get Trump back to the White House. Trump suggesting he didn't need Musk.
I think I would have won. Susie would say I would have won Pennsylvania easily anyway.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Pro Channel, where we continue to dive deep into the halls of entertainment and bring you what you need to know what's going on out there in this great, big, beautiful world we live in. As we get ready to dive in today, folks, prepare to click the like button in 3, 2, 1, and thank you so much. All right, folks, we could do another Trump and Musk video. You've seen so many of those out there already, right? And if we did so, we would be competing with 10,000 other content creators out there trying to tell you what is the truth and what's not the truth. They're going to pick a side, they're going to take a side, and not a single one of you out there basically is going to be persuaded by any of those videos. Most of you have already made up your mind on whose side you're going to take, if any, right? Some of you out there lean to the left and you don't care. You think both are bereft of any value or morals. But for all I would say the majority of you out there who are in the middle or on the right side, you all have already picked your side. You either think that Trump is being done poorly in this, or you think that Musk must do what he is doing right now. You all have the narrative formed. I'm not going to change, for the most part, what you think about this. And so what I would rather do than repeat what everybody else is doing is give you something completely, utterly new out of left field that will, I think, explain what is going on, and because this channel is what it is, from an entertainment perspective. All right, stop on by with me to Good Logic for just a minute. Good Logic, Joe over there, in case Trump and Elon want the proper scorecard in a goal to make public amends. And he goes out to list in great detail what's going on in this feud. Folks, go check that out. I also recommend that you listen in to Scott Adams. He had a great take on this. You know, I don't agree with Scott Adams on everything out there. I'm not sold on the idea that we live in a simulation. But I love Scott Adams, right? And he's got a great take on what's going on between Trump and Musk today. However, folks, what if I told you that the feud is doing something completely out of the ordinary, something that you may not even know is happening? And to find out what that is, let's go to Fox News, where we're going to learn just how badly the legacy media is losing because of this battle. Karine Jean-Pierre hoped to be a co-host on The View after exiting Biden White House. This is the report by Hannah Penrick. It says Jean-Pierre faced backlash from Biden officials over her new book, which one called A Bizarre Cash Grab. Now, I want everybody to look at this. This came out June 5th at 5 p.m. Eastern, right? As the feud was getting ready to go. And we're going to pay attention to the dates on these articles and the times specifically that they were published as we read through these. Because, ladies and gentlemen, the legacy media had a plan. The legacy media had a ratings plan. They were going to get some controversy. They were going to get some stuff going. The Jake Tapper book failed. Jen Psaki sucks over at MSNBC. But they were going to go for round 3 of an attempt to redeem themselves and get the ratings back with Karine Jean-Pierre. All of that has been blown up. This was supposed to be the big, big story that was going to consume Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Here's what it was all about. Former White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre reportedly hoped to be a co-host of The View after leaving the Biden administration. She was told no. I'll explain that in just a minute, too. Yes, this is related to Disney. The former Biden spokesperson wanted a seat at the table on the liberal ABC News talk show, Politico reported Wednesday, citing former Biden administration officials. Pay attention to that. That came out Wednesday. Why did that come out Wednesday? Because Karine Jean-Pierre is about to make a book tour, and that book tour is supposed to lure you into watching the news. Her predecessor, Jen Psaki, now has a primetime hosting gig at left-leaning MSNBC. But Jean-Pierre revealed she was ditching the Democratic Party on Wednesday and becoming an independent in an announcement for her new book, Independent, a look inside a broken White House outside the party lines, which is set to be released in October. Okay, so Disney said no to Karine Jean-Pierre because Disney has got enough liberals, right? They're looking for conservatives, they're looking for moderates. So Disney axes the effort for Jean-Pierre to be on the show permanently. But then Karine Jean-Pierre decides she is going to pull an Elon to some degree, and she is going to do a PR campaign where she's going to leave the Democrat Party, because how else are you going to get people to buy your book than to do something crazy, right? You got to generate some buzz. You got to get people interested. And so this was what we must talk about all weekend. That was the plan, right? In fact, if we go to AP News, and again, we're going to look at the date of release here, ex-White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre, left Democratic Party, publisher of her book says. Let's see when it came out. June 4th, 2025 at 2 p.m. Eastern. Wednesday was the setup. Thursday was supposed to drive the interest levels in it. Darn it all got blown up by Elon Musk and President Trump. Here it is by Hillel Atelier? I don't know. AP, here we go. Former White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre has a book out this fall that promises a close look at President Biden's decision not to run for re-election and calls for thinking beyond the two-party system. Jean-Pierre herself has switched her affiliation to independent after working in 2 Democratic administrations, according to Legacy Hit, a Hatchet book group imprint that will publish Independent, a look inside a broken White House outside the party lines on October 21st. In other words, Jean-Pierre sacrificed her Democratic affiliations and her Biden connections the minute she left the White House in order to promote this book. But the only way this was ever going to work, the only way that Jean-Pierre was ever going to sell the book was if this story took off like a wildfire. And the problem is that she ran into Tsunami Musk and Tsunami Trump, and now nobody is reading anything about this. And by the way, it's all a bunch of manufactured garbage, because Karine Jean-Pierre can reaffiliate, rejoin the Democratic Party tomorrow. This was all supposed to be a marketing attempt. This is a big PR push that was supposed to consume the airwaves for 4 or 5 days. Now it's not, because people can only talk about Elon Musk and Trump right now. That is going to be day after day after day after day. I'm going to come to the Axios story in just a minute, but I want to explain the connection now to entertainment and to legacy media, because essentially politics, you need to know, to some degree, politics is sort of like the WWE, right? For grown-ups who like to wear blazers. That's politics, right? Okay, so politics is to some degree entertainment. And all of the currency of that world of entertainment, the people who are tuning into Fox News, MSNBC, okay, nobody's tuning into MSNBC. You're right. You got me, right? The people who are tuning in, though, to all the news outlets, they right now, all they care about is the Trump and Musk feud. And the Trump and Musk feud is largely being played out, not on the outlets, but on the new media. Because who's on the new media? Who's on X? Who freaking owns X? Elon Musk. So it must be in the new media. Everybody is tuning into X over and over and over to see what it is that Musk is going to say. And you can say, folks, Pro, why won't you go deeper into this? Why won't you tell us what you think about Trump and Musk? Well, because, folks, if I do that, if I fall for that trap, and a lot of people are falling for this trap, in 2 hours, I'll be obsolete on this video. Think about that for a minute. From the time that I record this video until you watch the video, which is something like 2 to 3 hours later, maybe, and maybe longer for some of you, Elon Musk and Donald Trump will have flipped the script again, right? Elon Musk will have put out 15 new tweets in some sort of barrage, and Donald Trump will do the same, except he'll be over on Truth Social, and everything will be different. And you'll be listening to me in 2 hours and saying, Pro, really, he's out of date now. There's no point in listening to this. So there's no need to get into that granularity. Rather, I love doing what we're doing right now, which is to say, folks, it's all going to happen. All the new media. And the legacy media's plans, their efforts, they had an idea. They had something that was going to carry the day for the weekend. Jean-Pierre was going to save the day for the legacies. No more. Now, you could say, well, this is going to boost their ratings talking about Trump and Musk, and that's true. That is true. But primarily, where are people going to go to get that news? The new media. They're going online. They're going to YouTube. They're going to X, right? That's where the next piece of news is going to land live immediately. and the news cycle has been shrunk down to something like every 15 minutes now. Let's take a look, though, at what the plan was. Alex Thompson has this from Axios, and as we read this, I want you to understand what the cost was. What was the cost for this failed PR effort? Which really, I think now, you got to say that Karine Jean-Pierre is in a worse place than Jen Psaki, and that is hard to achieve. But what was the sacrifice made? What was the chunk of meat they were willing to lay on the altar in order to create this PR buzz to try to sell this book that nobody's going to buy? Well, out of Axios by Alex Thompson, Biden world goes scorched earth on Karine Jean-Pierre. You'll notice they say Biden world because Biden can't go scorched earth at all. He likes the daisies. Former Biden Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre announced Tuesday. How about that? Former Biden Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre announced Tuesday that she's written a book about a broken Biden White House and what she sees as the betrayal of the former president by the Democratic Party. Many of her former colleagues think Jean-Pierre, the face of the White House for more than 2 years, was part of the problem, according to interviews with more than 24 former Biden administration officials. Jean-Pierre's announcement Wednesday led former Biden aides to tee off on her. Many quietly had fumed for years, believing she was incompetent at her job at the White House podium and more interested in promoting herself than Joe Biden. News of her book and that she was leaving the Democratic Party was the final straw for many of them. The fighting within Biden world is part of a larger post-election angst and grievances amid new reporting of how Biden staff tried to hide his physical and mental decline during his presidency. Jean-Pierre was a key part of the effort to conceal Biden's decline, vouching for his fitness and insisting the president, then 81, was as sharp as ever, even after June's disastrous debate against Donald Trump. Now, this is the Axios report, and again, it came out June 5th, just before the feud, right? This was supposed to drive the views, although she's not going to be on The View because not even Disney wants her. Jean-Pierre was willing to sacrifice essentially everything. The right does not want Karine Jean-Pierre. The middle does not want Karine Jean-Pierre. The left has had enough now of Karine Jean-Pierre. She has burned down every bridge that they have. She's burned every single thing down to the ground now. That's it. She's down for the count. Karine Jean-Pierre was willing to do whatever it took to go to the mat and sacrifice everything for this one shot, like Eminem, this one shot. She took her shot, and guess what? It was swatted back by Elon Musk and Donald Trump because that turns out to be what everybody cares about. And guess what else? It's on the new media. The legacy media, their plans, yet again, backfiring. We've seen it time and time again now, folks. Jake Tapper, Rachel Maddow, Jen Psaki, everything is falling apart. CNN ratings, MSNBC ratings, everything is falling apart. And for those who were associated with the Biden White House who thought they were going to get a cushy job like Psaki did just before before the dam broke, well, think again, because not even Disney wants these wokesters. And that's the story for today, folks. Thanks for coming our way. Hope we brought you something you didn't know related to this Trump and Elon Musk feud, related to entertainment, related to ratings. And folks, that's what we're here to do, to bring you a new angle, something additional, bring an extra plate to the table. All right, folks, you can help us send this out, this dish of wonder, all across the YouTubes by clicking that like button. Share, subscribe, click it, stick it to the algorithms. It is the notification bell. Drop a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts on all of this. And folks, by the way, a reminder, New Rock Radio is here on Prelude Pro Radio. Go check it out. We had a fantastic, phenomenal launch yesterday, and more is on the way. 16 more brand new songs next week, following the Pro Show on Thursday. All right, ladies and gentlemen, until the next time, we have the pleasure, the honor, and the privilege of spending time with you. Keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.
You know what? I don't even care this time.
Well, you should know that I'm preparing to...
Nope, I said I don't care. Whatever you're doing, I don't care.
You don't want to know that I'm auditioning for Pro's new rock station on New Rock Radio?
Nope.
You don't want to know that he now has Vacation Radio and New Rock Radio on Prelude Studios, which used to be Vacation Radio, but is now so much more?
Well, maybe.
You don't want to know that I purchased this guitar and these sunglasses using the credit card that you humorously labeled for emergency uses only?
Wait, what? You did what?
Oh, see, now you're taking interest in my passions and abilities. Okay, so Jose, you're sure that we ordered the $10,000 drum kit before Floral canceled the credit card?
It did, Mr. Dripset. Check.
Nice. Okay. Oh, and the didgeridoo? That will increase in value so that Floral can send his kids to college?
Academia. Oh, that's it.
Why is there a didgeridoo on the front porch? I'm gonna bury that little troll.
Jose,
Oh.
Google how to play didgeridoo. We're gonna need to justify this somehow.